IPs from bigger studios and bigger publishers. You've got something really from everyone and something for everyone. And in this video, I want to highlight one of the major games of early 2023. It's a brand new IP. It's been a long time coming, saw a couple of delays, but in this video, we're going to highlight everything you need to know before you drop your $70 on Forspoken, as it's being released in January for the PlayStation 5 and PC. No PlayStation 4 release. You're going to see that more and more as we head into 2023. There's going to be some cross-gen games, but you're going to see more and more next-gen only titles, as again, we're heading into this new era, so to speak. Nonetheless, Forspoken, before I get into any information we talk about this game, it's absolutely paramount that if you have even a modicum of interest in this game and you have a PlayStation 5, you owe it to yourself to play the demo. This is a game with a very, very interesting and unique gameplay style, utilizing a lot of different magic abilities and you switching between those magic abilities at a moment's notice, and you're going to do that constantly. And how you respond to that battle system, I think, is going to be pretty interesting and one of the most compelling parts of Forspoken. Whether it be good or bad, I've seen people be on either side of the spectrum, so please play the demo. It's really going to give you an idea of the battle system of the game. It's going to give you some of the thematics, the soundtrack you're going to get an idea for, and the overall feel of the game. So that demo is available right now in the PlayStation Store. It's available for free. Go ahead and download that. Unfortunately, not available on PC for whatever reason. I wish they would just drop the demo. Square Enix does a great job in dropping demos for a lot of their games, but for some reason, they don't drop their demos often on PC, and it would be nice given that I'm sure this is a game that people want to know how it's actually going to perform on their specific PC, depending on what kind of requirements they have. You guys get the idea. Nonetheless, let's talk about Forspoken and let's give you a little bit of background to the game. Find your fight, as it's noted on the official website. Forspoken follows the journey of Frey, a young New Yorker transported to the beautiful and cruel land of Athea. In search of a way home, Frey must use her newfound magical abilities to traverse sprawling landscapes and battle monstrous creatures. And you kind of get an idea of the types of creatures you're going to be fighting throughout the demo. You fight a variety of different enemies. But on top of the combat, a big element to this game is the parkour and the exploration, and the demo gives you a really good idea of that as well. Frey's unique abilities allow her to fluidly traverse the open world with ease, scale walls, vault across canyons, leap from dizzying heights, and dash through vast landscapes. Using her newfound magical abilities, Frey is not only able to nimbly traverse the treacherous terrain of Athea and explore her strange new surroundings, this magic parkour also comes in handy when she comes toe-to-toe with the multitude of enemies lurking in the corrupted landscape of the Break. You get an idea of the parkour gameplay in the demo. If you hold the circle button, it's very easy to navigate and scale through different terrains, and it makes traversing throughout the world very fast, very fluid, and that's actually one of the more enjoyable aspects of the game. As far as the taste we got in the demo is the exploration of this open world and the various terrains you're going to encounter and how you utilize that terrain and navigate throughout it while also being in battle. It's kind of a unique complementary system to the combat as well, as far as utilizing the parkour. And again, you have the magic combat, which is absolutely the heart and the core of Forspoken. Take on twisted monsters in magical combat with a wide range of powerful abilities, catering to a variety of playstyles, from fast-paced and exhilarating to strategic and methodical. With a wide arsenal of powerful magic at her disposal, Frey can take on the countless twisted foes that lurk in the Break. Mastering multiple magic types enables customizable combat options and numerous ways to fight the enemies threatening the realm of Athea. So you have different magical abilities mapped to the triggers, and you're constantly switching between the magical abilities as well. And if you hold down one of the triggers, you can charge up your ability. It's not a lengthy hold down period, but for example, Frey can throw a fiery spear that'll do an explosion and then do AoE damage as well. And you've got a lot of different magical abilities to tinker around with, so that is going to be something you're gonna have to test and utilize the magic that best fits specific scenarios, because there are some enemies that are going to be resistant to specific magic types, and then you're gonna have to switch on the fly. And that gets pretty interesting when you are fighting a multitude of enemies and one portion of the enemies are resistant to a specific magic type, the other portion of the enemies aren't, and you're constantly switching between magical abilities to utilize the abilities that are going to be effective against specific enemies. And when you're fighting several enemies at once, it gets pretty chaotic pretty quickly. There was also a lot of emphasis put onto the combat system particularly, and they wanted to make the magic look incredibly natural, noting we put a great deal of time and thought into how we visualize the spells in Forspoken. First and foremost, we wanted to stay away from having things like fire or rocks just suddenly appearing out of nowhere. While that certainly would have been fun and wouldn't have caused any issues, doing that felt too expected and boring, especially for a game so focused on magic. We decided that every spell would share a common rule. It would start with magic energy and transition into natural phenomena like the aforementioned fire and rocks. Then when the spell is cast, it would reverse back into magic energy before fading away. So they put a lot of attention to detail into the magical combat, and again, playing the demo gives you an idea. That combat is super vibrant, super flashy, and from a technical standpoint looks really, really good, and again, just really pops as far as making the gameplay look as flashy as possible. Like, if somebody that doesn't play video games comes into the room and watches the combat of Forspoken, I think they'll be taken aback into how flashy and vibrant everything looks, and they did a really good job with that, and you immediately get that idea when playing the demo. Remember that Frey was a regular New Yorker, and after arriving in Athea, Frey soon learns that this beautiful land once flourished under the reign of benevolent matriarchs called Tantas, until a devastating blight relentlessly corrupted everything it touched. The break transformed animals into beasts, men into monsters, and rich landscapes into 4 dangerous realms. At the center of their shattered domains, the Tantas now rule as maddened and evil sorceresses. Unaffected by the break and desperate for answers, Frey reluctantly agrees to help the last remaining citizens of Athea, who see her as their only hope. With so much more to uncover and experience in Athea, Frey will quickly learn that this magical land and its inhabitants are indeed worth fighting for. And exploration is going to be at the heart of the game. You've got a big world to explore, and you're going to be finding a lot of items, a lot of equipment, a lot of customizable items. It's a sprawling magical world filled with adventure and discovery. On her quest to save this mythical land from the Tantas, Frey will uncover a variety of interesting detours, formidable challenges, and even a few delightful encounters. The world has been affected by a corrupting force known as the Break, and Frey's ability to venture into these blighted areas unscathed proves to be invaluable to the surviving Athenians. Frey has plenty of ways to keep her hands full while searching for a way home to New York, including some very interesting points of interest to explore. So that's a background into the world and some of the gameplay aspects, and you have a variety of characters that have been detailed as well. Obviously, you have Frey Holland, the main character. Frey Holland was used to feeling like an outsider while growing up in New York City, but she is quickly pushed to her limits after being mysteriously transported a strange land with people, places, and cultures unlike anything she has ever seen. When she is mysteriously transported to the fantastical land, she discovers the ability to cast powerful spells and use magic to traverse the sprawling landscapes. With her magical sentient bracelet Cuff, she sets off on a journey to find a way home. Their interactions is going to be a pretty core component to the game as well, and I see some people are not a big fan of their constant interactions. Nonetheless, I think some people will find it humorous as well, but we're gonna have to see how that parlays into the entirety of the game. Frey's journey through this strange and treacherous land will take her deep into the heart of corruption, where she must battle various creatures, confront the powerful Tantas, and uncover secrets that awaken something much more from within. Obviously, you've got Cuff. Cuff appears on Frey's right arm when she is transported, a magical sentient bracelet who guides Frey as she explores the treacherous landscapes of Athea. He is a wit and often jokes cynically with Frey, who is often the only person who can hear his voice. Her new cynical companion Cuff helps Frey navigate through the sprawling landscapes as well. You have Tanta Sila, the strongest and most formidable of the Tantas, destructive and twisted, all-powerful matriarchs who have dominion over Athea. It's a dictatorial despot who is known for indiscriminately crushing any person, thing that stands in her way. So one of the main antagonists. You have other Tantas as well. Prav, at the center of the Shattered Domains, the Tantas now rule as maddened and evil sorcerers, acting as judge, jury, and executioner of her realm. Prav is judgmental and illogical because she believes everyone surrounding her is wrong and rashly punishes those she considers to be guilty. She deprives her people of principle and true justice. And then you have Olas as the Tanta of Wisdom. Her lust for knowledge consumes her. She uses her magic to absorb people's thoughts to acquire new knowledge, and will trap anyone she considers a threat in a world of illusion. So that is just the tip of the iceberg as far as the characters that you are going to encounter. I also want to highlight some specific notes that were noted in a Gamatsu interview with Takeshi Aramaki, co-director Takafumi Terada, and creative producer Ryu Mitsuno. I'll leave a link to the entire interview in the description box below because it gives you a good insight into the game. Remember, this game is headed by Luminous Luminous Productions, who worked on Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 was another game that technically was very impressive, and I think a lot of people did enjoy aspects of FF15. Ultimately, I think narratively that game faltered quite a bit. However, Takeshi Aramaki, Luminous Productions head of studio and co-director, noted, coming out of Final Fantasy 15, we really wanted to develop a new game, a new IP essentially. With Final Fantasy 15, we felt like we were able to do a lot of world building, and we felt like we did a pretty swell job in the sense of developing an RPG, but alternatively, there were still some challenges that remained on the scenario front. And so with our latest title, pairing up with Western scenario writers like Gary Whitta and Amy Hennig, and gathering their helping hand, so to speak, we felt like we would be able to create quite an amazing game that we really truly love, so that's where it all kind of started. It seems like Luminous Productions is putting out a lot of games that are technically impressive. And again, look at the entire interview in the description box below. There's a lot of interesting information there as far as backgrounds to the story and specific decision making and whatnot, if you do want a deeper dive into the development of the game. Speaking of technical performance, that is going to be a big aspect to the game. There are 3 different settings, and you can utilize all 3 of them in the demo, so you can see how the game runs for yourself. You've got performance mode, ray tracing mode, and quality mode. You guys know me. I'm playing the game at performance mode. Now, performance mode does not give you a completely locked 60 frames per second. It can dip down, but it is targeting 60 frames per second. But some of these battles get super chaotic, and you will see the frame rate dip down a little bit. And then, as far as ray tracing mode and quality mode goes, those are targeting 30 frames per second each. Quality mode targeting a higher resolution, ray tracing mode obviously utilizing ray tracing reflections, which is incredibly demanding. So, you know, depending on your playstyle, you can pick whatever setting you want. There is a 120 Hz option as well. That'll vary the settings a little bit, but performance mode is what I gravitated towards, and for a fast-paced action game like this, I feel like that is the best route to go as far as playing the game. Before I round out this video, I do want to note a couple things as far as various editions. So, the game will be released at a full $70 on PlayStation 5 and PC. There will be a physical edition released on PlayStation 5, of course. And then there will also be a digital deluxe edition. Now, the digital deluxe edition will be released at $95. So, yes, a hefty price point, but it comes with the full game, digital mini art book, digital mini soundtrack, prequel story, DLC Forspoken, In Tanto We Trust. That'll be coming in summer of 2023, and a rare resource kit. So that'll be $95. The base game is $75. Both of those editions available on PlayStation 5 and PC. So that'll do it for me. Again, Forspoken, one of the hotly anticipated games of 2023, and one of the ones that is really kicking off the year in a big way. I know we got One Piece Odyssey right before it, but as far as big budget titles, this is a really big budget title, and all eyes are really